Hello y'all, welcome back to the nacforadventurer YouTube channel. My name is AJ Cutler, and today's video we are continuing our series called Everything But the Skiing. And this is just kind of where I talk about things that maybe don't pertain to sliding on snow, but still have to do with skiing. So today we're gonna talk about layering and staying warm while out on the hill. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to answer a question from the comments in the last video, and it is from my friend Annika, and she says, how did you start getting footage of yourself? Just asking friends, did you ever feel like it would be obnoxious? I am all about self-filming. It does take a little bit more time and gear, but I think it can bring a really fun element of creativity. I think it's really cool to be able to film your own experiences and share them with the world. So highly suggest a tripod. That's literally what I'm using right now. Believe it or not, I don't have just this full-time videographer that follows me around. How do I get this off? I do just have like a tripod in the middle of my room. Right here, here's my nice light stand. So a tripod is definitely one of the biggest things that I've got that has allowed me to film a little bit more just by myself. I have this big tripod for my camera, but I also have like this little, what is this called? Flexible tripod, and that'll fit my phone or the GoPro. And both of these combined have just allowed me to get different angles and maybe set up where I wouldn't be able to set up without a tripod. Just allowing yourself to be creative and never feel silly for setting these up by yourself, because you're out there, you're doing it. If you're filming in the outdoor space, I highly suggest some sort of action camera. I've got the Insta360 as well as the GoPro 10. Between these two, I've been able to get loads of content like super easily because I can just attach it to the top of my ski helmet, put on my chest mount while I'm mountain biking, and I think it offers like a really cool POV angle. So if you're looking to self-film in action sports, highly suggest. As for the last part, personally, I've made a lot of friends on social media, and so I know that they have like-minded views when it comes to getting content while out on the hill or out on the trail that are gonna create this comfortable environment where you're not afraid to ask for a clip, because for the most part, they're probably down. Big thanks to Annika for the question. I hope you get it figured out. If you have a question that you want to ask, make sure to drop it in the comments below and I'll try and answer it on the next video. Now, let's start layering.
Ogres are like onions.
They stink?
Yes. No.
Oh, they make you cry?
No.
Oh, you leave them out in the sun, they get all brown, start sprouting little white hairs.
No. Layers. Onions have layers.
So Nick and I made that video last year just kind of as a joke, but when it comes to skiing, layering is really important. At least for me, up in the Northern Hemisphere, skiing is in the winter, and winter has gnarly conditions. You've got high winds, below freezing temperatures, fog, freezing rain. Oh yeah, snow, duh. So when you go out skiing, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have on all the proper gear so you don't get cold and you can actually focus on the skiing part and not on my toes are freezing part. But on the flip side, you also don't want to get too hot, because then you're going to start sweating and then that sweat is going to freeze and you're going to get cold. And so it's all about trying to find this balance where you're just in this warm little pocket. First, I just want to come out and address the cost. I understand that skiing is an expensive sport, and when you're first getting into it, it seems like this huge wave of just all this gear that you need to get, and it all seems to cost a lot, especially if you want to invest in good quality gear. And if there's one area to cut costs, it would definitely have to be apparel. If I'm being super honest, I think a lot of the stuff that I'm going to show you today was either gifted or thrifted. I was able to find a lot of good quality gear, but it's at a fraction of the price because I found it secondhand. So don't be afraid to thrift if you're on the lookout for more ski apparel. So first up, we're gonna talk about materials. Lately, I found myself gravitating towards merino wool layers because it's got great sweat wicking properties, it helps regulate body temperature, it's easy to layer for warm and cold weather, and especially merino wool is gonna be soft and comfortable against your skin. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more budget friendly, there are a lot of good synthetic base layers. However, there's also a lot of like wool synthetic blends. Those are gonna be in this nice mid-range as far as price, but also it's still gonna give you those advantages of wool. This is one of my absolute favorite base layer tops. It's from Solomon and it's 50% wool, 32% nylon, and 18% polyester. So it's gonna have like a nice stretch, but you still get some of the properties from that wool. Next up, we've got the different types of layers. First up, we have those under and base layers. I think if you want to be comfortable while skiing, it definitely starts with the under layers and what is actually like touching your skin. First, I really like to start with this bralette from Bronwyn, just a really comfortable quality layer for when I'm skiing. Along with the bralette, I will also wear some sort of undershirt, kind of like this tank top. I also have this crop top that is mostly merino wool. So I really like having some sort of undershirt before I put on a long sleeve base layer. When it comes to fitting your base layer, you're gonna want it to be tight against your skin, but still loose enough to give you flexibility for movement. So here are a couple of my favorites. This one is a merino wool layer from Revolution. This one is a synthetic layer from Patagonia. Lastly, this is just a thrifted Italian merino sweater that I found, which I didn't initially get for skiing, but it's actually really, really warm. Now for base layer bottoms. These ones are the matching set from Revolution, and you'll notice that they're cropped. I've got a lot of advice to wear cropped leggings, so when I put on my ski socks, there's not gonna be any extra fabric in my ski boot. And this is going to ensure that your ski boot is gonna fit well and there's not gonna be any pressure points. So if your feet are having trouble with circulation, don't be afraid to try out the cropped base layer and see if it fixes anything. And I guess that'll kind of bring us into the ski sock realm. I think I would count it as a layer. If you're hesitant about investing in wool items, at least start with your socks. Your socks are the easiest way to kind of slip merino wool into your gear stash. So I think it's really important to be in quality socks because you're on your feet all day and you're gonna want something that keeps your feet warm but also wicks sweat. I've really been liking these new Darn Tough ones that I got from Level 9, and it's got some nice compression, so highly suggest. Next up, we've got mid layers. And that's gonna be any type of clothing that's going to be in between your base layer and your outerwear. And there is a very wide variety. So we've got 3/4 zip fleeces, we've got little thin jackets, even puffy jackets. When you're trying to find the perfect temperature, it's really nice to have a lot of different mid layers that you can kind of mix and match. One of my favorites is definitely this Arc'teryx full zip little light jacket. I seriously got it thrifted for like $10 and I use it all the time when I go touring just because it's really easy to take on and off, and it's just a really nice weight where it's thin, but it still offers a lot of warmth and coverage. And I normally wear more color, but I'm digging the black right now. I think one thing that I haven't experimented a lot is mid layers on my bottom half. So on those like really, really cold days, I'll just usually end up wearing another layer of base layers or just like some sweatpants that I have. But I would be interested in trying out some like of those puffy pants. So if anyone has any recommendations, I'm curious what they're like. Outerwear is gonna be that first line of defense for the elements. You're gonna want something that protects you from the wind and shields you from any moisture. So outerwear is gonna wanna be some level of waterproof. And it can be categorized into two different segments. So we've got uninsulated shells and insulated jackets.
Uninsulated gear is typically one layer of waterproof fabric, also known as shells. These are great for people who run hot, as it's easier to layer up to find a good temperature. They are also widely used for ski touring or other activities where you are constantly moving. Insulated gear provides extra warmth with the help of some insulation between a couple layers of fabric. There are a wide variety of insulation fills, so it's really easy to find the perfect fit for you. These are great for resort days, when you are frequently riding the chairlift, or if you need to stay warmer on super cold days.
So that's kind of just a quick crash course on layering. Hopefully you learned something. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out my Instagram and TikTok at AJ Cutler for more skiing videos. Thanks so much for watching and keep on crushing.